Over the next 10 years, Turkey continued to grow economically, but Erdogan started pushing more Islamist and authoritarian policies. He was quoted saying that he did not believe men and women were equal, and that women were meant to be mothers. His government also began arresting protesters and journalists under the guise of anti-terrorism laws. This stirred unrest in Turkey's more liberal urban areas. In 2013, there was a small, peaceful demonstration in Istanbul's Gezi Park to protest Erdogan's plans to reconstruct military barracks that would include a shopping center and a mosque. Seeing the demonstration as opposition, Erdogan sent in riot police to remove the protesters, which quickly attracted more protesters.
It got bigger and bigger because it was a proxy, and more from being a protest over a park to being a protest against Erdogan, against how religious he was becoming, and it got violent. Previously, he had not been a brutal ruler. After this, he became a brutal one.
Erdogan began removing Ataturk's secular laws more aggressively. He ended the ban on wearing headscarves, tightened restrictions on alcohol sales, and freed mosques from government control. Then in 2014, Erdogan was elected president, which in Turkey is a ceremonial role with little real power. But that didn't put an end to the arrests made across the country, which indicated that Erdogan was still in charge.
And there were two groups of people who were terrified by this. One, the kind of secular Turks who looked back to Ataturk and said, "The hell's happening to our country?" The other was the military. And they were the ones, again, who believed that their core mission in life was to keep Turkey secular and that he was a threat.
So in July 2016, they staged a coup and it almost worked. There was just one problem. The military couldn't get the public support this time. Erdogan had found a new way to reach his supporters.
I want to encourage my people to the streets and invite them to the airports. And together, as people gather, show them, by letting them come with their tanks, to see what they are going to do it right there to the people.
Erdogan had this amazing moment where he used FaceTime on his iPhone to kind of rally the country and say, defend the country, defend us against the military. Come Turks, come to me, come help rally around me. And it worked. You had secular Turks for the first time in years defend Erdogan. You had religious Turks literally stream from mosques into the streets to fight the military. The military overstepped. You had Turkish F-16s fire rockets and missiles at parliament. Turkish tanks fired at people in the streets. That was very effective for him.
Erdogan emerged from the fighting more popular than ever and ramped up his purge of the opposition. More than 100,000 journalists, academics, military officers, and politicians have been arrested since the coup attempt. Tens of thousands remain in detention. This brings us to the recent referendum, which follows Erdogan's post-coup popularity. He set it in motion to acquire more power and to make it permanent. But the vote was much closer than it was anticipated, suggesting that much of the country wants to hold on to the secular Turkey created by Ataturk, and they're willing to fight for it.
But I do think you're going to have the inevitable tension of a president who believes he's entitled to more power, taking more and more of it, and what remains a somewhat secular country that isn't comfortable with giving him that power. Do those tensions play out politically and in court, or do those play out in the streets? If it's actual fighting and violence, then what we know of as a democratic Turkey is over.